Picture 10,000 pink birds moving as one, and somehow English gave them the perfect name. A group of flamingos is called a flamboyance. Say it out loud, it practically struts off your tongue. And, unlike most animal facts, this one actually fits. Flamingos stand together in bright pink crowds, sometimes tens of thousands strong, shifting and drifting like one giant feathered organism spread across a lake. Here's the twist most people never learn: that pink color isn't something flamingos are born with. Flamingo chicks hatch gray, almost dull, almost forgettable. Nothing like the postcard image everyone pictures. The pink arrives later, and it arrives because of what they eat, not because of anything built into their genes. Their diet is the real engine behind the color. Algae and tiny shrimp make up much of what flamingos filter out of shallow water, and both are loaded with carotenoid pigments, the same class of compounds that turns carrots orange and gives autumn leaves some of their fire. Flamingos can't produce that pigment themselves. They absorb it, meal after meal, and their bodies do something remarkable. They root it straight into growing feathers. Eat enough of it, consistently, over months, and the pigment builds up layer by layer until a gray chick becomes a bird practically glowing pink. Take the food away, though, and the color goes with it. A flamingo in captivity, fed a low carotenoid diet, can actually fade back toward white over time, like a photograph left in the sun, only in reverse. The color was never permanent. It was borrowed from every shrimp and every bite of algae, on loan for as long as the diet keeps paying it forward. Now, flamboyance itself isn't some official biology term stamped onto a textbook. It's more of a quirky English tradition, the same impulse that gave us a murder of crows or a parliament of owls. These collective nouns trace back centuries, to old hunting and courtly language, back when naming a group of animals was treated almost like a private joke among nobles and hunters. Somebody, somewhere, looked at a crowd of screeching crows and decided murder was funnier than flock. Whoever named the flamingos clearly had the same instinct, and for once, the joke landed perfectly. Most of these names never got put to any official use. They lived in old hunting manuals and gentlemen's word games, passed down more as trivia than terminology, which is exactly why so many of them sound like little jokes dressed up as vocabulary. But here's the part nobody expects. The single leg standing everyone associates with flamingos isn't some elegant trick or performance. For a long time, people assumed it took effort, some kind of balancing act. Scientists eventually figured out the opposite is true. It's not effort, it's rest. A flamingo's leg joints lock into position, almost like a mechanical latch clicking into place, letting the muscles go fully slack while the bird still stands upright. Standing on one locked leg actually burns less energy than standing on two, because the muscles aren't doing constant work to hold the position. It's less like balancing and more like leaning against a fence that happens to be part of your own body. That same one-legged stance does double duty against the cold. Tucking one leg up against the body traps heat that would otherwise drain out through bare skin, especially in cold wind. Think of it like pulling a bare hand into a sleeve instead of leaving it exposed to the wind. So the pose that looks so deliberate, so performative, is really just efficient thermodynamics wearing a costume. Watch a flamboyance long enough, and another pattern shows up. They sync. Legs tuck in near unison, heads tilt and shift together, like a colony quietly agreeing on choreography nobody actually taught them. It's an odd thing to witness color, posture, and even movement all lining up until the whole flock looks staged, almost theatrical, despite being completely instinctive. What strikes me most is how much of what looks like personality in flamingos is really just chemistry and physics wearing feathers. The color is diet. The pose is energy conservation. Even the name is just centuries of humans being a little too pleased with their own wordplay. Nature rarely hands out a name this fitting, but flamboyance earns its title, one bright pink, one-legged bird at a time. Follow along for more facts like this one.